How are you all doing today?
Very good, thanks.
Looking forward to the gig tonight, Scala?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feeling festive. It's very good.
Yeah.
Just a couple of days.
I've never played here before.
I know, weirdly, we've been here a lot over the years for various events, club nights, gigs, but we've never played it.
Pop Stars on a Friday night. In the old days. Yeah. That was my regular haunt, and so many memories. Used to come here all the time.
Did our final year show at university here as well, our final year music show.
Yeah.
It seems to have shrunk since then.
Yeah.
I think the stage is lower.
Everything seemed really big.
It's always smaller without the people in it, I think.
Well, there's that as well.
Tonight it looked bigger.
True,
I
yeah.
just remember the
That's
stage
true.
being higher before. Do you remember that? Or do you remember the stage always being
I think
higher?
we were short.
Yeah.
We were short. That's right.
That stage doesn't look like it's been changed
No, it
in
doesn't.
many years, like everything else in this place.
It's not how I remember it.
Anyway, about 6 years since your first single, and you've got the greatest hits that obviously just come out. Does this mark some sort of crossroad?
I think it is a bit of a change for us. I think we were going to...
End of a chapter,
Yeah.
or maybe a few chapters.
Yeah. I mean, it's been like... yeah, it's been nuts kind of few years, and
Well, 6 years in pop years is, what's that?
3 lifetimes.
6 times, at least dog years.
it's just
7
like, that's
years.
like 25 dogs.
25 dogs.
Yeah.
Basically, it's 25 dogs long.
Is that going to be the title of the new album?
Yeah, 25 dogs long. It's been, yeah, there's been so much stuff going on, and yeah, it feels like you know, we've already started working on the next record, so we're just back in the studio doing stuff, and it's just nice to market with something.
Yeah, is there any working title for the album so far?
No, that always comes last.
Yeah.
Very early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it isn't it? I mean, is there going to be any change of direction? You know,
Possibly. I
musically?
don't know.
We have to just start. We just have to get on with it and make it, because we don't really. We found the best thing to do is not plan anything, not try to do anything, and then just let it come out. So
Yeah, we're not
we
those.
don't know.
We don't write in that way. Some people write. You know, some people
Yeah,
write a song and
very
have a chorus
specific
first.
idea.
Or
yeah.
some people write a song and have a title first.
Yeah.
And then they'll write a song, and some people will write a song. Some people have a cerebral way of working in that they can control their output much better. We can't really do that. We just put stuff out, and we follow our noses and we follow our emotions, and we're kind of more emotive and less cerebral about the way we work.
But do you take sort of songs into the studio that you've sort of half written or something, or does it literally come out
Well,
when
because
you're
the
ready to
studios, well, we're at the studio all the time anyway. We've got our own studio, so we just start from scratch in the studio normally, and we have worked in different ways. There's been ways where I've come in with songs completely finished, or come in with songs half finished, or taken away songs that were started with everyone and finished them off. And it just depends on.
But it's best. We found it's best not to plan anything. It doesn't really work with us planning.
We would go with the instincts instead.
in inspirational wise? where does, I know you must have your heroes, your points of inspiration, but on each album do you sort of take, let's say, right, you're depending on what you listen to at the time, or who
I
you've
think
seen?
you do, but as Dan said, it's totally sort of it's emotion based, and it's based on what we're feeling like at the time. So we do that, but we don't really think about where it's coming from.
Yeah, I think you
can
notice.
do it in retrospect. You can go, oh yeah, that's obviously there's a bit of Queen in there, a bit of Beatles, and it's not really like that when we're working.
Yes, it's when it's finished in the back of it and you go, oh, it's probably because I had that Talking Heads album on for about a week. All that, you know what I mean? Like, you just find some record.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do work like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have your musical inspirations changed over the years?
I think we just added to them.
Yeah, they've evolved, haven't they?
Yeah.
But again, we don't sort of. It's better not to analyse those things. To just get on with it. Just do it.
I mean, over the 6 years then, sort of, what have been your highlights so far then?
So
Dan can't remember half of it. We were talking about yesterday.
We were talking about yesterday about going into record. Apparently, because there's a recording of the Christmas song.
This is actually because of the Christmas show.
Yeah, the Christmas show. We're playing this Christmas song that we recorded ages ago, and I recorded the piano and the vocal really, really long time ago. No memory of that at all.
Doesn't have any idea.
But then the one we put out has like a really beautiful string arrangement on it, done by Richard Niles. And
so what we've done is Dan had written this lovely song that I think we'd had for 2 years or so hanging around, And then we went into Air Studios with an orchestra and recorded that, and had this amazing. And he's got no memory of it at all.
I don't remember. I mean, there was an orchestra.
Must have been a
I
good
don't
day.
remember it.
I'm sure there was.
Well, I was definitely
But
there.
maybe it was only you that wasn't.
I'm sure Dan was there.
Yeah, I must have been there. I remember mixing it, but I remember being at the session. I don't remember being at the session. I don't remember being Air Studios and all.
He doesn't even remember writing the
I don't remember writing the
Sort
songs. I don't. The whole lots of it, and the highlights are
The things you remember.
The highlights you remember because they're really big things like the Wembley Stadium gigs or the thing that you do when you
Glastonbury.
or your
main
first
stage,
television or your first song on the radio,
Top of the Pops.
being on a Now album. The things that you kind of connect you with your childhood
Yeah, yeah,
Being
yeah.
on
things.
EastEnders.
You know what I mean? Like hearing yourself in the cafe in EastEnders, or just the first time it gets played on the radio when you're in a taxi. Or those things are real. You
That
know what
must
I mean?
be. Is it still good when you hear yourself on the radio? I mean, you're
Yeah.
played so often now, but
Yeah.
It's very. I think a lot of those key moments sound quite surreal because you're sort of stepping into something that as a kid you dreamed of doing but never really quite thought it would happen. And these little moments where it does happen start to feel like a bit of an out of body experience in a way.
but the magic's still there. You still get that sort of buzz.
Oh yeah. Well, we played on our last tour. We finished up at Shepherd's Bush Empire, and it's one of the best shows we've ever done. We came off feeling like that was a highlight in itself.
Yeah.
It's just because it was one of those gigs where everything just came together.
Yeah. So what does the future hold then? Is there any sort of major plan?
Keep creating. I mean, that's always the thing. Trying to just keep creating, being creative, and making the best music you can make. I don't think we've ever really had much of a focus outside of that.
I mean, you seem like I've seen you in many sort of places, different areas. I don't know, you're always close together. You seem like a real close-knit sort of band, always together, always chatting, always drinking together.
Yeah.
Is that, do you have fights?
No.
We just don't have any other friends really.
No one else to talk to.
We've accidentally become some weird clique because we also speak very much the same language. We've all known each other since we were so little.
But there must be some sort of musical debates then, at least in the studio.
Oh yeah, no, there occasionally are, but it's all we're all quite good at communicating, and that helps.
We know each other well enough as well to understand
Yeah,
how
yeah.
to talk to each other.
But you'd be amazed at how many bands don't have that. I mean, it does come across that you do have that, but a lot of
Yeah.
bands are fighting all the
I think
time.
it's because it took us that long.
We had all those fights. Yeah, we were working 10 years before we got a record deal.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
in many ways, all of that stuff was happening when we were younger, and I think there were.
Went through all of those.
We went through all
issues.
that stuff. Yeah, that was all done and out of the way by the time we got a record deal, and then after that, life was easy. We have our ups and downs, and we still work hard. But the compared to how it was before the record deal, that was easily just as hard a struggle, and we did that without any support at all. So we've been through all that for 10 years before we got to this point. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like life's a lot easier.
No, cool. What are you listening to at the moment then? Other bands?
Steel Panther.
Still
I
Panther. They're
went to see Steel Panther the other day.
Yeah,
You enjoyed that?
good band.
Yeah, best band in the past 20 years.
Yeah. I missed it. I did see them as Metal School a few years ago in Los Angeles because before they were Steel Panther, they did it on Comedy Act, which was amazing, very
Yeah.
fun. But the Bon Iver album, I love. It's probably my favourite album this year. Yet
Right.
to see them live.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good thing.
No, I think his falsetto is being picked up a lot at the moment by sort of musicians finding their own parts and all that. I saw this trio busking yesterday, and there's this guy
They're singing
doing
like him.
Yeah, but quite an unnaturally high sort of falsetto thing. He was really struggling.
What was
with
like
He
after?
was like, I want to be like
after
Bonnie.
oh my God! This is what I figured out.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. He squeezed too hard.
Barocca all over the floor. After Jeff Buckley was the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Every person tried to sing like
Tom
Jeff Buckley,
York.
and most of
Tom York has a load of people sounding like him.
and Tom York did the same, and most of them couldn't really quite do it. But it was just every bar in Camden and around town there'd be somebody kind of falsetto squawking.
You get a phase, don't you? Everyone follows it.
Whatever next.
Like the girls go.
Oh yeah,
That's another one.
That's
Girls. They sing like this. They do that weird. That thing.
After Yelp.
After Yelp. That's a new thing. That's quite good.
Well, that was a bit, it came out sort of 90s.
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah,
Is
and
this,
then,
what is this useful? This
Sinead O'Connor, Cranberries, but it's had a resurgence.
Yeah, but it's been mixed in with,
Cutesy.
it's a bit of R&B as well, isn't it? It's got a bit of a hybrid.
Are Christmas shows sort of the best for you?
Well, these are our
We've
first
never done any Christmas shows before.
Never done a Christmas show before?
We normally finish a tour in the autumn and then go,
Enough of that.
and then, you know, have a bit of a rest before Christmas. And do promo-y stuff
Yeah,
for Christmas, you know, radio shows and things. But this year, we finished the tour and it was such a good show, we kind of, on the day of the last show, we just said, it wasn't long ago, we just finished and we went, oh, should we do some Christmas shows? So that's why
It
it's
would be a
kind of
nice way to do a couple of extra.
very last minute.
Yeah,
It was only 3 gigs, only a little tiny
And-
tour. But
And you know, on our tour we had production, video, and it was all quite, you know, it's arranged in
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
we did it. This is totally ad hoc. It's just a mess. We did the
this is
gig
just
last
a boiled
night,
load of crackers.
and
That's what you got there. That's all
and-
the Christmas trees. In the
yeah,
box
yeah,
still.
and we,
And then
we
it was
sort of
snow.
intentionally haven't arranged the set too much and keeping it a bit stupid.
It's more like a party than a gig. I mean, it's not a production gig. Like the
Yeah.
production gigs, we're in theatres and we have
Yeah, yeah.
like loads of crew and all the stuff. But this is us having a party for some of the kind of supporters that have been supporting us for the last 5 years, and we just
Yeah.
thought we'd do a Christmas thing.
And for fun.
Bit of
Great
fun.
stuff. And thanks a lot for your time. Just finally, if for somebody that, mad as it might seem, that hasn't sort of totally tuned into the feeling, how if you had to pick 3 songs individually that would sort of sum the feeling up, which 3 would you pick?
It's a good question, actually. Probably pick something like "Never Be Lonely" for like the old kind of pop thing. That was always a good introduction for the first album, and then maybe "Without You" or something. It was a good song. "Rose" is a good one. Or maybe "Rose," and then something
So
like
you probably pick Sown.
"Sown." Yes, that's right.
Forgot about
Sown as well.
It's the
Quite
one that
track.
sort of broke us.
Yeah, yeah.
originally.
Sown was
Sown was the
Great
one
video as well.
when we started. It was our first proper single, and
yeah.
it
Maybe we
was
start
a
with "Sown."
big festival moment for us. We turned up at festivals as a band that we didn't, you know, nobody knew, and suddenly there were thousands of people singing that song with us. So should have that in there.
We'll start with "Sown" then.
Start with Sown.
And then the second one,
You could have Never Be Lonely. I mean, you don't want to do them all off the first album.
and then, well, no, 'cause I think if I was to introduce them, I'd play them something like "Say No" for the new album. Because it's a song I'm proud of and it's up to date and it's you know, one of the strong songs that kind of should have been a single and never was.
That's
you know?
true,
There's
yeah.
always those.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, should have, would have, could have. You know.
And
There's
the
lots
other
of reasons
choices?
why you can't always release the song.
Strange was like that as well.
Strange
First album,
should have been
a
a
song
single.
called Strange, which
Well, why weren't they then?
We just
Well,
there's only
it's-
so many you can have off an album,
Yeah.
and there's politics, and there's other people involved in the decision making as well
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you, and then there's radio,
what they say.
what radio says, you know, because they kind of get them out to radio and radio respond, and then
We always want to put out the best songs, but then that's not always going to get the best airplay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's always been the argument.
it's always been the argument. But it's you
But
start
I-
to realise after a
yeah.
while that actually, I think that we probably won't make that mistake ever again, because I think that we've come to the stage as a band where we just feel like, you know what,
Doesn't matter, just put out.
we're going to put out what we feel instinctively is the right thing to do, which is how we make the music. I just think we have to make everything that we do instinctive, and that's the answer.
Fantastic. Anything else you'd like to say to Music News watchers?
No, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thanks a lot. Cheers for your time. Looking forward to tonight. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.